So apparently in 2024, adults believe that kids should be allowed to walk around with other adults who don't have any clothes on, and that should be perfectly fine and perfectly legal. And these people are supposedly sane people. But before we get into the video, make sure you guys like the video as much as possible, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so that you guys get notified when one of my new video comes out. But let us get into the video.
What is going on with you being naked? I mean, is there something
it's
wrong
legal
with
here.
you? I know it's legal here, but you got kids all around you, and I noticed I've been sitting across the way reporting on the event, and every single time kids walk by, you're enthusiastically waving at them, trying to get their attention.
Not really.
You're on camera, dude.
Not really.
You're trying to get kids' attention. You're waving at them. You're trying to talk to them.
No, I'm not. I just wave at everybody. They just happen to be there.
But it's okay for you to do this in front of kids? You're comfortable with that? You think that's something they should see?
A lot of people are doing it.
So it just makes it okay?
But it's local. It's legal. Okay.
Honey, it is natural, honey.
I'm asking him a question, not you.
So I'm his friend. So look, it is natural to be who you are and what you are. And look, you see all this? And it's love always wins.
I genuinely don't know whether to laugh at this video or to cry at this video, because what I'm seeing in this video is absolutely disgusting. This grown man is saying he's not waving at the kid specifically, even though in the video we can clearly see, although there was an adult with the kid, he was clearly looking at the kid and waving at the kid, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But the fact that this parade is going on, and we know that there are kid in this world, and they're allowing men and grown adults to be around them naked, knowing that this goes on, is absolute craziness. But according to them, love is love. And if that statement itself doesn't ring alarm bells in your head, I don't know what would.
So it always wins. So you can just be naked in front of kids, try to talk to kids. Exactly. You don't think that's weird? You don't find anything wrong with that?
No.
I'm not talking to kids. They just happen to be there.
They just have, you're on the front row.
It doesn't matter.
You got kids right here. Literally one over next to you.
Well, I didn't notice that.
But you've been waving. Literally, when the Boy Scouts of America came by, you're sitting there waving at them.
I'm waving at everybody, not just them. They just happen to be there.
But so you just think it's fine for nudity in front of kids?
There's nothing, as long as you're not doing anything, there's nothing wrong with that.
Not sexual at all?
No.
Right.
I'm not nothing sexual. They just happen to be here, that's all. It's with everybody. Kids, adults, and everybody.
Let me ask you something. Do you see everything around this? I don't want to cuss, but do you see every thing around this goddamn California? Look at yourself.
I'm not the one that's naked in front of little kids.
No, he's natural. It's natural. Well, it doesn't matter, does it?
No.
There has to be something wrong with the individual that's talking right now, because his eyes aren't even opening properly, and one eye seems to be kind of open and then the other eye seems to be shut, and he's slurring his words. But I guess this person is definitely a normal individual.
Oh, listen, there's nothing wrong with it.
Look at yourself.
As long as you're not doing anything. And I wouldn't do anything with that. They just happen to be there.
Okay.
They just happen to be there.
I think that's all I got for you.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
So don't go accusing me of stuff like that. I don't want to. No, I don't care, man.
Made an observation of you talking to kids, waving at kids while you're naked.
It doesn't matter. I'm waving at everybody.
Okay.
I'm waving at everybody.
Okay. Man, what about you? I mean, obviously you got a kid right next to you. Is this not weird?
Well, I didn't know there was a kid here.
Yeah, but you've been talking to him. You've been like literally waving at him in the parade.
I wave everybody. They just happen to be there.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
So, as you saw, he just happens to be here, not trying to get kids' attention. But you see, if you go to like other reporting on tennis page, he's clearly waving at kids enthusiastically, gets excited whenever there's a kid around. But this is normal. Welcome to San Francisco. If this isn't hell on earth, I don't know what is. This is insane.
I talked to some of your colleagues yesterday about like the public nudeness and stuff and the naked stuff going on in front of kids. They said it was legal as long as there isn't, I think they said sexual gratification or a lewd act going on. But literally like right across the fence, you have a zone where people are giving each other blowjobs in public and pissing on each other in public. Is that legal? Like any enforcement going on there, or is it just...
Inside that event?
Inside that event, yeah.
Right, so they might have different parameters inside the event.
How would that work? Different parameters?
So technically it's not public event, right? You have to cross into it, and it's a private event. It's just in public streets.
So that's what like makes it not illegal, essentially.
I mean, we don't make the rules.
So
Just pick your battle day, and they
Yeah.
want us maintaining civility on the outskirts of it, and so that's
yeah, that's what one of the other cops had spoken about was like, if it's not violence, we're not getting involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, if it nothing violent, it's just
Yeah.
kind of pick your battle and
Exactly.
okay.
And then, like, they fence off these areas. They do the same thing in the Castro area.
Yeah.
They fence off certain events out there.
Okay.
Folsom Street, same thing.
Okay.
And, like, what happens in there, they don't want us in there.
Oh, so they don't even want you guys like in actual circle. Well, yeah, I noticed that the cops were outside. Like they call it like the leather or something.
Well, that's the thing. Is it's a private event. They take out permits. They do all that. They have their security, everything. And if there's something that they need us for, like assault or whatever, or something is inappropriate, they'll ask us. But that's their event, and as long as it's handled the way they want to in there, we're not going to step in.
The amount of nonsense that's going on in the Western world is absolutely insane. The fact that they're saying that they can't do anything, and I don't really believe that that's the case, because they are still out in public. I don't know if it's the case in America. If you get permits in a certain area out in public, then the police essentially can't do anything, which still doesn't make sense because they're engaging in sexual acts and they're doing this in front of minors. So I'm sure that would be illegal, but of course, because they're the police and the police have some corruption in them, they're not doing anything in this situation because they don't want to hurt the feelings of the woke mob is really what's going on right now. I don't even know how they can stand there and they're actually not doing anything when he's just informed them of what's going on in there.
But if, you know, someone's doing it on the corner over here and there's kids out here and someone complains, then we have a little bit more authority to do something.
Okay, so yeah, like you said, kind of just pick your battles. The governor probably wouldn't, you know, enjoy the enforcement of something like this, I'd imagine.
So I just talked to multiple cops on and off camera. Off camera, they told me, yeah, we're not enforcing anything. They know exactly what's going on. And it doesn't matter because it's not violent. So they're full aware of what we just documented, the blowjobs, the peeing in the mouth, the sexual gratification in public. And then the cops that you see on camera, they pretty much said the same thing, but not as, you know, straightforward. They said, he literally said, we kind of are picking our own battles today. So they said it's a private event. It's still illegal what they're doing, but since it's a private event, they have been instructed to stay out. So if you look inside that actual event that we were just in, the kink zone, there's no cops in it, but they're all surrounding it, and they all know exactly what's going on. And I don't know if this is the department's fault or, you know, the higher ups or what's going on, but they're being told not to enforce the law, essentially, not to do their jobs, which is absolutely insane. You literally have blowjobs in public, people urinating in other people's mouths in public, fully nude, and it's okay in the state of California and the city of San Francisco. So I'm baffled, honestly. I have never seen anything like this. I don't even know what else to say.
How many sexual partners have you had?
Oh, well,
Within what time frame?
full time frame, or unless you're just this weekend, maybe.
I just turned 40, so it's I'll just say it's a big number.
Hundreds.
We'll say hundreds, just to be fair enough.
I think for reaching thousands.
Possibly.
You know, we kind of hear the debate about medically transitioning at certain ages between the right and the left online.
Yes.
What age do you think is okay for somebody to medically transition and make that decision?
In my personal opinion, I would say possibly around puberty, during teenage years. I don't think a child should have to go through that. I think it's best for them to, you know, receive professional therapy before parents decide if that's where they want to go. I think puberty is probably best.
I've watched many videos in my lifetime on YouTube, but I think this is the most degenerate video I have actually ever seen. And shout out to Tenet Media for going out into the public and enduring all of this degeneracy, because this is absolute insanity. And I'm not surprised that the guy who's in this parade has a body count as high as his, or as high as he says it is. And it's funny that engaging in this lifestyle promotes people spreading diseases amongst the population, but I digress.
So around, like, I'd say average period, like,
We're talking like 16, 15.
okay, so like late stage. stage.
Yes, exactly. I'm 40 years old, but even at that time, I was still trying to understand myself at that age. And so I'm glad that eventually, I figured out who I am. I'm lucky to be a cis male. I'm happy that I'm a male. I'm lucky to be born this way. I consider that. And anyone who wants to transition should have that right. But like I said, definitely during teenagehood, I think is probably best, in my personal opinion.
Once again, you're back to the online discourse. You kind of hear the right and the left going back and forth about, nudity, kink in front of kids. You do have it at, some of these events.
Right.
Yesterday's event, you had a lot of nudity with kids around, things like that. What's your opinion on that? Do you think it's damaging to kids, or does it really not matter?
Well, when I was 10 years old, honestly, I remember, just loving Disney movies and Legos and things like that. My parents didn't expose me to any nudity, or whenever there was something on TV, they would turn it off. Maybe I'm old school. I still think that's appropriate. Probably best to wait on that kind of exposure.
Let kids be kids.
Let kids be kids. Exactly. Let them have that childhood experience. Let them not be so conflicted with sexuality. It's like, they just want to have fun. Let them be kids,
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the name Jesus Christ?
Oh, the first thing that comes to mind is, give me 1 second, please. Let's see, conflicting. He had amazing teachings, but this document was written 2,000 years ago. Of course, it probably was mistranslated so many different times, especially during the 16th century with King James. How do we really know? Is that what the Bible is really teaching about? It needs to be further analyzed and studied and clarified before we make, okay, that's what the Bible says, this is what you're supposed to do. It shouldn't have to be that way.
How many sexual partners would you say that you've had?
I'd say at least 12.
And can you explain kind of the dog stuff? I feel like it's, a lot of people online don't really understand, the leather community, things like that.
For us pups in particular, we're like about a relationship. So we have our dom, our handler, like that type of person relationship. Like they don't have to be at top or bottom or anything like that. Just to have someone to depend on, like an equal relationship. Like sometimes you have someone more in control or someone who is like more submissive. For me, I'm like kind of a mix between both. But no, other pups will have owners, grab our handles, give us locks or something like that. But it's kind of like a give and trust. Sometimes we have equal relationships with other pups. I've been in a relationship with pups. Never really been in a relationship with like say with a normal handler or anything like that, but it's kind of like that.
I imagine you've seen the online discourse between the right and the left, the past few years of Pride events, about nudity, kink, kind of being in the same area as children. Do you think it's damaging to kids, or is it just a part of the community?
I say it's a bit of both. Like at the same time, it's up to parents to like express their kids into that type of environment, but at the same time is like, you also understand there's people who've been repressed for so long. That's kind of their way of expressing themselves. Like I express myself as a puppy, other people like to express themselves as leather daddies, some people want to be nudists, like okay, but you always understand like there's a given place for those type of areas. Like there's the 18 plus area, there's the kid area, like we should have those types of areas just to make sure that everyone's having a good time.
This seems to be an ongoing theme that's going on recently, where people go out with dog masks and call themselves pups or dogs like this dude is doing. I'm not surprised that this type of behavior is amongst these types of people, because these types of people engage in some very interesting things that are very questionable, but yeah.
That comes to mind when you hear the name Jesus Christ.
I say from the person from the Bible, that's about it. Just a person that people follow, understand, that's about it.
You see a lot of the kind of back and forth with Christians specifically, kind of condemning pride. They say it's, one of the 7 deadly sins, and that's the focus point of the celebration. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I say it's just like more stupidity. I think it's not even the religion itself, it's your personal choice. If you're into that, then okay, go hate us. If you're not, like perfectly fine, we'll accept you as an ally. Because I think it's less of the religion, but more of the person himself. Because I've seen people who are religious but still accepting of gays, LGBT, and all that.
Can you kind of explain the reasoning behind the nudity? We've seen a lot of it out here. What's the point?
The reactions. Last year I had people walk around with me so they could see other people's reactions. They want photos, they want hugs, they tell me how brave I am, body positivity, and that's why I originally started doing it.
What would you say? Because you had mentioned, you get attacked by conservatives, people like that. You see a lot of the online discourse between the right and the left, saying that nudity, kink isn't okay in front of kids at these parades, at these festivities.
Yeah, as long as
you think it's damaging?
Do anything. That I don't know, but I wouldn't take the chance.
If I was someone with the mind of a kid person, I would think that places like this would make it more easy for me to engage in that type of behavior. So by allowing people to be naked around kids would make the risk higher, but of course these people don't care as long as they get to do what they want to do. They have this whole idea as long as you don't do anything. Well, that's very easy to say in hindsight until something actually happens.
You don't touch, do anything that teaches them negative behavior, I guess I could say, I don't think that it has an impact on them. I'm a member of a family nudist park.
Okay.
And, kids don't care about nudity. They can be taught to care.
Yeah.
But they just run around, they don't care. It's like, body parts are like looking at elbows or whatever else. They don't have any reaction to it.
Okay.
As they get older, through the teen years, start to be a little more careful, but at young kids, they don't care at all. They just think it's funny.
But anyway, that was another video. If you guys enjoyed the video, like the video as much as possible, comment down below, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at YinkaThatGuy, and I am out.